Welcome back. Well, many around the coastal bend and across the nation will be honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. this weekend in preparation for MLK Day on Monday. Our Mike Gillespie has a preview.
It was one of the most dramatic lines of the 20th century.
I have a dream.
Spoken by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the summer of 1963, his words captivated the largest crowd ever gathered before on the Washington Mall and echoed through a country deeply divided. Over the next few days, Americans will again reflect on the life and legacy of Dr. King. On Saturday at the Corpus Christi Museum of Science and History, a chance for new generations to experience the power of a movement and previous generations to be reminded of its importance. The museum will have a live presentation happening throughout the day featuring an MLK historical reenactor. In order to encourage as many as possible to be a part of the experience, they are also offering half-price admission. On Monday, MLK Day will be observed. In years past, it has been marked by a downtown march and church service, something that has understandably had to change this time around. Still, everyone is invited to a virtual event at noon on Zoom. There, you will be joined by author, historian, and filmmaker Loki Mulholland and his mother Joan, an original freedom rider. Although it has been a federal holiday for years, it was just last year that the city of Corpus Christi recognized MLK Day by closing down city offices and encouraging a day of service. Then, as now, it should be viewed not as a day off, but as a day on. Mike Gillespie, 3 News.